Welcome to GTL Extra. This is our first video. I'm joined by a very special guest in a minute, and we're going to be doing our positions for the Premier League 2022 to 2023 season from 20th to 1st, and just talking about all of the potential possibilities this season. I'm joined by a special guest. His name is Liam.
Yes, that's my name. What's going on? How's it going? Yeah, it's JG. Yeah, good, man. Good. So excited for the Prem. You know me. I love a bit of football and all that good stuff. I think it's going to be an exciting year, man.
Well, it's been a while, isn't it, since we've watched a bit of football. There's been some new signings, like you said. But just to give a little introduction, because there's probably a lot of people watching this who don't even know who I am or yourself. Game to Love. Predominantly, we have our tennis channel. This is the extra side of things. We're going to be doing some football, some boxing, some UFC. This is about the upcoming Premier League season. I'm a West Ham fan. Liam's a Chelsea fan, for those who don't know. And we've actually got quite a bit of experience in football in terms of we played for the same football team last year.
Yep.
And we've had quite a bit of back and forth with regards to football over the years.
Yeah, we have. And I mean, look, London rivals.
Yep.
But I like to think on the pitch, we've got a bit of synergy there, a bit of chemistry, if I don't say so myself. So it'd be interesting to see how close our predictions are. And by the way, people, we do not know what each other's going to predict. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting. I think there's going to be a bit of drama, probably a few arguments. So, yeah, it's going to be good fun. But yeah, just happy that football's back, to be honest with you, mate.
Yeah, I mean, I know you can be a little bit delusional over the years when it comes to Chelsea. We've had many conversations. I don't want to know. I may as well go straight with it. With Alvaro Morata, when he signed for Chelsea, you were saying he was going to be getting, 30 goals a season. It never really happened. Didn't materialise. Wasn't a very good player in the end. I know you tried to convince me he was as good as Diego Costa. Never really happened.
Oh, come on. No.
When Werner signed as well, you was big on him. I think Chelsea are in a bit of a tricky situation at the moment, but let's get into it. And we're going to start with last year's Premier League table, how it ended. So
yeah, I mean, it's been a while.
It's been a while, so let's go for a recap. I'll let you go through the top six.
Okay, so as probably most of you know, Man City won the league. It was a bit, I know it was close, but they were always kind of ahead. Liverpool always playing catch up, 93 points. Liverpool second, of course. Really, I hope we don't see it next year, but we're kind of in a two-team league right now between Liverpool and City. They're kind of a cut above the rest. Obviously, third, you have Chelsea.
Maybe not so much this year, though.
I don't know, mate. Well, we'll get on to that.
Okay. Liverpool lost a big player in Mane, and we're not sure how they're going to adjust. Last year, though, the most important part about it was it went down to the final day. I like that. I know you say Man City will always look like they was going to win it. I agree. But still, they had to do it on the last match. If they lost the last match, they would have lost the title. So that's always interesting. You got your team there, Chelsea, in third. Can they maintain that?
I mean, it was a weird one last season, wasn't it? Because I remember the first couple months of the year, everyone was like, Chelsea. It's Chelsea's year. Lukaku looked a bit like he was firing. Obviously, they just won the Champions League. So I was really optimistic. But then it was kind of that Lukaku interview, really, and we had a few, and I hate to use this as an excuse, we had a few COVID cases, all that stuff, whatever. But
sounds like an excuse to me.
No. I mean, look, Chelsea were not good enough last year, but it kind of all went downhill from there. And Lukaku, mate, he's a bum. I'm happy he's gone. The less said about him, the better. I hope he rots away at Inter Milan, not to sound too controversial, but yeah, Chelsea, hopefully they can do a little bit better, but we will get on to them. I've got a few things to say about them, but I'll leave it to my prediction.
Before the start of last season, I know you're saying it was a bit of a two-horse race, but a lot of people included Chelsea in that race, myself included. But sort of looking up, I forget exactly, I think it was like 5-10 games in, Chelsea looked as good as the other two. They were all thereabouts, and there was people saying Chelsea can win the league. It seemed like it was one of the three teams, and then Chelsea they shouldn't have really finished third. It's only because Arsenal bottled it towards the end that they did, because Arsenal had a good chance of coming inside the top four. Tottenham were approaching fast as well. They ended the season quite strong, and Chelsea fell away big time. But the way they started was very encouraging. The difference is this year, no Abramovich. The team's in a bit of disarray. I know you say you're not got Lukaku, but I think he was still your top goal scorer last year, right?
I believe so. Yes, I believe so. I should probably know. Yeah, I believe he was. He was, if not the top goal scorer, he was one of the top goal scorers. So yeah, but I mean, you can't read into that too much. Chelsea,
I mean, he wasn't great.
Apart from Drogba, Costa, we've never really had like that out and out top goal scorer in our team. So you can't really read into that too much. Obviously, fourth year, as you mentioned, Spurs, they started horribly, same as Arsenal really, and they kind of grew throughout the season. And they're a team that obviously, as a Chelsea fan, I can't like, it's in my blood, right? But I was actually really impressed with the way that Conte drilled them towards the end of the season. They looked like a team that was just too difficult to beat. And I think ultimately it was that game against Arsenal, right? I believe it was 3-0 towards the end of the season, unless I'm mistaken, that kind of just solidified them in that top four. Arsenal, of course.
West Ham as well badly. I think that was a 3-0 drub in as well, with Son and Kane just ripping us apart. I remember watching that in a bar in Tenerife. It was a West Ham bar. And there was a few wrong uns in the bar, to say the least. And it just wasn't.
Yeah, you're one of them, bro. You're one of them, mate. No wonder you're there. You dirty man. Anyway, I think Arsenal, right? I do give them some credit. At the start of the year, there was all that, they're going to get relegated.
Well, there was the three games they started off, they lost all three. The fourth one was against Norwich, and Arteta did that big speech. I don't know if you saw it on Amazon Prime, where he was talking about how he was born with a heart problem. Did you find it cringy, or did you find it motivating?
No, not that bit. Not that bit. Sorry, I hate to, but like that bit, yeah, I get that. But then after that, it was a bit like, I don't know. I just found it a bit, I don't know, all for the cameras sort of thing. But yeah, no, respect him, heart problem, like completely, like big respect to him for coming back from that. But I did feel like it was just a little bit like, we know the cameras are there. Maybe you disagree with me, but
I think it's a little bit harsh. So I'm going to give you this.
All right.
We do have a few reactions throughout. That's the first of many, I'm sure. Let's keep going down. So we spoke about Arsenal, Man United. I mean, it was a team in disarray. They did well to finish sixth in the end. A bit embarrassing that West Ham wasn't able to come sixth and get in Europa League. It went down to the final day yet again, and they just fell apart. I mean, I forget exactly who it was against now, the last game for West Ham.
I believe it was Burnley. No, not Burnley. It was some...
It's a shame I don't have it there.
Maybe have a look at that one. I could get it up in the background, mate. Keep going through.
I'll let you get it up, and I'll just keep going through. I forget, but I know it was definitely a winnable one. I know Man United had Crystal Palace, and they ended up losing. If West Ham won their match, they would have got top six. It was a good season for West Ham, but ultimately, the squad was too stretched. We didn't sign players when we needed to in January. They didn't invest in the team, and going all the way to the semi-finals of Europa League with just Antonio as the only striker, he was run ragged. He had no legs towards the end of the season. And it was just difficult. I mean, we had loads of centre-backs injured. We was just making do at the back. Cresswell was just losing his head every time he played and kept getting sent off in the big matches. And
you sound emotional, mate.
Listen, it was a bit of a disaster towards the end. However, it was still a good season. I mean, West Ham to finish seventh. I mean, before the season and the ball was kicked, I would have been happy with that because I knew we was going into the Europa League. I knew what happens when you play Europa League football. With the tight schedule and playing so many matches, with all the injuries will come. And I think ultimately, seventh, all in all, wasn't a bad performance and a bad end result, but it could have been so much better if we actually signed some players. But this year, things are looking good because we have signed some, and we're going to get into some wonder signings. I mean, some real top talents in Europe later on in the video.
Yeah. Just quickly, it was Brighton you played in the last game. It was a 3-1 loss. I believe Antonio put you 1-0 up as well. And that was when United were also losing it. It looked like he was going to get that sixth spot. So, yeah, let's quickly bounce through the rest
Brighton,
of them.
Because they're a great team. I mean, West Ham, I don't think they've beaten Brighton in the last however many years. I don't think they've beaten them in the Premier League in the last 5 years. I can't remember one. All the
Graham
time.
Sorry, go on, mate.
They're a great team. All the time it's either 1-1 or they just beat us and we just always struggle. That's just my knowledge of playing Brighton. They're a really good side. And ninth last year, can they do better next year? Or is that where they
Well,
are?
we'll find out, but I'll give you a hint. I think it might be a stretch too far. I think they play really good football, but I look at the personnel and I look at losing Basuma as that sort of stalwart in the midfield to Tottenham, of course. He signed there. I think that's going to be a huge loss. I look at when Leicester lost Kante, and I think that's a very similar. Obviously, Leicester won the league. That was a bigger drop off, but I see that as a similar cog in the team of Brighton. And although Graham Potter, he drills his teams well, they play amazing football. I really do respect him. Sometimes when you lose a big player like that, and I will have a look at their replacements if indeed they have made any, but I feel like he's one of those irreplaceables for Brighton.
They've got Cucurella as well, I believe, won Player of the Year for them, and he's handing a transfer request today. So that's big news too. Let's keep moving down. We've got Wolves, pretty solid, consistent team. They've got every Portuguese player who's ever played playing for them, apart from Ronaldo, because no one wants him. We've got Newcastle, Palace.
Obviously the Saudis as well.
Yeah. It's sort of the mid-table battle. I think that could be pretty similar, but let's get on to it. Aston Villa, they could have a better season next year.
Yep, Gerrard after one.
Steven Gerrard. Well, see, Villa, I really, you know what? When I play against Liverpool at Anfield, I don't care. It's all...
And the last time we saw Villa, right, they was playing against City, if I'm not mistaken.
City.
Because you had all the Liverpool fans saying, oh, Philippe Coutinho and Gerrard, they're going to do it for us. They're going to help us win the league. Never materialised, though, because they couldn't handle Man City.
They bottled it, mate. They bottled it at the end of the day. And I will say, Jack Grealish came off the bench in that game, and I believe he got an assist for one of the goals. So, Villa fans, unlucky. That's all I'll say. But look, it was a good season for Villa, to be honest. I thought it was a decent... I think Gerrard's a decent manager, as much as his
he didn't
voice...
start the year, did he, Gerrard? Or did he start the year?
Can't remember now.
I forget when he came in. However, even if he started it, he's not been there long. He's not been able to build his team. This year, I'm pretty confident they're going to have a better season. I like Villa. They've obviously got to Coutinho, who they brought in, I believe, in January. Coutinho with a full season. He was looking good. He seems to be better suited to the Premier League than any other league, which is weird. His game style just works.
Physically he doesn't seem like that sort of guy, but I kind of like... They're not the same sort of player, but it's like Juan Mata for Chelsea those 2 seasons.
Yeah, it just
you look at Mata and you'd say, David Silva. They're slightly different players. Coutinho's got a bit more power in his legs, and he's obviously got that incredible long shot. But I look at those sort of players and go, they're small, slightly less physical. You don't really think they could do it in the Prem, but somehow they're just so smart. Their football intelligence is just next level, mate. To be honest,
just makes you wonder why it didn't work at Barca. But I guess some good players haven't worked out at Barca over the years, so it can happen. It reminds me a bit of an Oscar. Do you remember when Oscar played at Chelsea? He had a good long shot as well, Brazilian.
Yeah, Oscar won. He was a bit of a flash in the pan for me, but just on that Barcelona point, I think a lot of the time, right, you have these players that are a good fit for a certain club, and as much as Barcelona was Coutinho's dream club, I felt like he went there with all the other ego. I just think sometimes it doesn't quite work out the way. Yeah, I think you get a bit lost with all the glitz and the glamour of it. I feel like Liverpool, to give them some credit, they're a real family club, and I feel like even though Liverpool, some would
comments.
No,
I mean we're gonna have a lot of Liverpool fans in, so I can't be. It's not that I don't like Liverpool, but something what really bothers me is with their new signing this year. What's it? Is it Núñez? Is that how you say it?
Darwin Núñez, from Benfica.
Núñez. I see everyone slating him at pre-season. I don't look into that too much. Just give him a chance when we're playing proper matches. I don't look into pre-season matches as much as other people do for a start. But one thing I saw a journalist say is how Liverpool only sign nice players from nice families, because there was a thing with him and his family when he was signing the contract, and they come from real working class, brilliant, nice families. And I'm just thinking, looking at it I know the main thing he said was nice personalities. And I'm just looking at it like Trent. I mean, is Trent Alexander-Arnold a nice personality? I mean, looking at him, for me, he's just not a nice person. I mean, some people I don't know him personally, but just from the things you see about him in his interviews and the way he tweets on social media, There's just a massive level of arrogance there. I know he's a good player. He had all that stuff with the Snapchat, him texting that bird, that pregnant girl.
Pregnant one, yeah. He loved a pregnant woman.
He's
as
just a
it
bit
were.
of a dick. Let's be honest. Like, I don't think he's a nice person. Mohamed
GTL
Salah.
Extra. Oh, he's calling him out.
Do we have like a little ooh on it?
There you go.
There's the ooh. But no, Mohamed Salah, he dives every other game. I don't think they're necessarily a nice. Right. They're a nice club, as what everyone makes them out to be. That's just my point on it.
I see your point, but just quickly on this, I don't want to sit on it for too long. What I will say is that Trent's an academy player, all right? So put him to one side. All of their signings do seem to work under Klopp. I can't think of a signing that hasn't worked yet. And on that point, what I'm basically saying is, I'm not saying that's because of their family, personality, or whatever. There's something that Liverpool do. They're quite selective in their signings as well. They seem to work on a net sort of zero net spend model. They see there's something in the background that they do that just works.
Well, they might try to, but they're definitely not net spending. I mean, they must be spending more than they're. The thing is, what they are good at, they're good at getting good value for money for when they sell players on. They're not bad at doing that compared to Arsenal. I mean, it's polar opposites. Arsenal, they can buy a player 50 million and sell him. He goes on a free next year.
Yeah, that's true. Chelsea are a bit like that as well. But what I will say is quickly is just one example of that is when Timo Werner signed for Chelsea. I think it was Chelsea and Liverpool was kind of top of that race. And Chelsea seemed to get him so easily in the end. It was like Liverpool didn't even put up a fight. And now I'm looking back. At the time, everyone was like, oh, Chelsea, they've done it. They've signed the best striker in the bloody world. But looking back on it, I do think, what did Liverpool know that Chelsea didn't? It just feels like their scouting department. I don't know what it is. I'm not close enough to the ground, but
I would agree with that. I think they've got some good players. The jury's out with Nunez though. Not so sure, but however, I wouldn't read into his preseason.
But
let's just go through these final teams quickly.
Can I just say quick? No, can I just say quickly on Nunez, because I know you mentioned his preseason and he was terrible against Liverpool. But the other day, after against all Liverpool, of that,
for Liverpool,
against Manchester United for Liverpool when they lost. But shortly after that, a couple of games later, he did score 4 goals in one half.
Yeah, I know.
So anyway.
But I wouldn't even. That's what I'm saying. Let's not read too much into the preseason results as such, because the teams aren't ready. It's not a competitive match. And having that half Italian in me, I know what it's like watching the Italian national side play any friendly match. They lose all the time. They just don't. It seems to. It's an attitude thing. It's very difficult to get up for a pre-season match where you want to win. You're often trying new things as well, trying to get the system. You've got players coming and going, players unsure about their contract. I wouldn't read into it too much. We do have behind the scenes here. Cheers, Ben, for adding this. And that is Chelsea's top goal scorers. It is Lukaku with 15.
And then Havertz
14, Mount 13. So cheers for that, Ben.
So there wasn't much in it. But just on that Italian note,
though, still lost 15 goals, though.
Yeah. You mentioned the friendlies, but clearly Italy also don't turn up in the World Cup qualifiers. So less said about that, the better.
Well, they did at the Euros. I think you was there as well. So
you English or Italian, mate? Which one is it? Right. When Italy won, you were Italian, but when if England would have won, all right, I get it.
Win-win.
I get it, JG.
It wasn't a win-win last year for Norwich because they hardly did win. And mate, Norwich, it was abysmal. I mean, 5 wins the whole season. Who are we going to have rock bottom? Watford got relegated. Burnley finally got relegated, and they hired Vincent Kompany as the new coach in the Championship. Very interesting. I like that as well. Let's see how that one pans out. But let's move on with the video because I'm cautious. We've been still speaking about last year. This is all about. This is all about next year. I want to share something with you because I found this by mistake and I thought it was quite interesting. Let me know what you think of it. So it is some predictions site on 538 and it works out. I don't know. It's got some weird algorithm. The Premier League table for this year. So let me just share this for you here.
Here we go.
So it's quite fascinating. I want to see how much you agree with it. Of course, we're going to be doing our own one in a minute. But they've got Man City as the favourite. And they use this SPI rating to work it out. and they've got a 92.3 rating for Man City, and they've got 91% chance they're going to qualify for the Champions League. I mean, for me, that would probably be higher. I can't see them finishing outside the Champions League.
Mate, where's West Ham?
Chelsea third. I mean, that shocks me. Of course, we know Man City, Liverpool. They put Chelsea third, Tottenham fourth, Arsenal fifth, United
That's the same
sixth,
as last year.
Villa seventh. Is it?
Yeah, the top 6 is the same as last year. Exactly.
Okay, so they've kept that the same. That's
Villa, I'm a bit shocked at that.
They've put Villa up quite high. They've put Brighton here, Leicester. West Ham, I've lost my spots now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
I think West Ham is 10th, is it?
And let's look at the bottom 3. They've got Everton escaping relegation with Fulham, Bournemouth, Nottingham Forest to get relegated. Is it a bit basic this for you? Have they just gone for the 3 promoted teams and said they're all going to get relegated? They've kept the same top 6. What do you make of it?
I mean, for me, I don't really see the mathematics, because how can you give a like for like comparison in data between the 3 teams that have just been promoted? Because we don't really know how good they're going to be. I imagine a lot of this is based on the caliber of players, their results, etc. I think that's a bit biased against the new clubs, to be honest. I mean, look, I may or may not have it similar, but yeah, it's interesting to look at, though.
Well, talking of bias, let's get in with our own one now.
Yeah,
because all right, I'm sure we are going to have some bias. Right, finally, the moment we've all been waiting for. This is GTL Extra's Premier League predictions for the 2022-23 season. And we're starting with number 20.
Right, so in 20, I've got promoted through the playoffs, straight back down, Nottingham Forest, mate. Nottingham bloody Forest.
I'm very glad you've said that.
I feel like
I'm very glad I've said my thoughts on Jesse Lingard, and I've backed it up. Just also a disclaimer, I've not seen Liam's and he's not seen mine until this very moment.
Yeah.
And I can confirm I actually also have Nottingham Forest in 20th. So we've gone for the same team in 20th. It doesn't agree with that weird algorithm, what we just looked at. But I, for one, I think it's going to happen. I don't mind it at all. The weird algorithm went with... Yeah. Oh, no, they did have Nottingham Forest as well. Apologies. So we're all in agreement there.
I mean, if you look independently, Jesse Lingard is actually quite a good could be quite a good signing for them, but I just don't think they're going to have enough, mate. To be honest, I haven't seen a whole lot of them, but to me, it just screams straight back down. Bit of a Norwich sort of scenario for me.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah. So
number 19, I've gone for Bournemouth.
Oh, mate, it's going to get a bit boring. Mate, I've got the same.
I've
got Bournemouth in 19th. I've got Bournemouth. I do like Scotty Parker as a manager, and I think he's done a good job for them. I think they came second in the end, and quite convincingly. I just, again, not sure they're going to have enough for me. And if I look at the 3 teams that came up, I know that Fulham are a bit of a yo-yo, but I think they're the 2 for me that are most likely to go down.
Number 18. So the last team to get relegated next year. I've gone for something a bit different. This could shock you. I've gone for Everton. I'm predicting Everton to get relegated. We've looked at their ingoings and outgoings. They've signed Burnley players. Burnley got relegated last year. I don't think that's what they need to be doing. I've already said my thoughts on Frank Lampard. I think he's overrated tactically. And I think Everton are going to struggle. They've lost Richarlison. They've not replaced him with anyone of any note. And I don't see Everton. I think, well, they've never been relegated, have they not? I think they're one of the teams that haven't been relegated. I think they are going to be relegated now.
It's been many years.
They was knocking on the door last year. This year, they're going down.
I think it could happen, but I have a question for you then. Does Frank... Will Frank Lampard be there at the end of the season?
No.
Or you see a mid-season change?
Yeah. They'll have Big Sam or something.
And you don't see that benefiting them at all. You just don't think the squad's good enough.
I think they'll get someone. Well, it's hard to tell. Obviously, this is a lot of speculation. But I think they're going down.
Harsh. I knew you got 18.
Let me guess. Fulham.
No, I've gone for something a little. I don't think it's that mad. They just stayed up last year by the skin of their teats.
Leeds.
I'm going for Leeds United, mate.
Okay.
I'm going for Leeds. You look at it, they've lost Rafinha, Calvin Phillips. We look through some of the signings. Nothing really was tickling my pickle. Who have they got the helmet? Jesse March. Mate, you think Jesse March is going to last the season? I mean, he did all right towards the end of last year, but for me, the way he speaks about the game of football, it's not just because he's American. I think he's got a different perspective on the game, man. I don't think it's sustainable, like his tactics. I just think they've lost two phenomenal players, man, and it will show. I think it really
I agree with you completely.
will.
And in 17,
So
I've got
look,
Leeds.
it might be quite controversial, but they only just stayed up. Yep.
I've got Leeds in 17. So I've gone with the
Ooh.
same reason. I'm not going to repeat it, but I've gone for them. What about yourself?
Yeah, okay. I've gone for Fulham in 17th.
Okay.
I think Fulham I think, although they're a bit of a yo-yo club, I was impressed by how easily they won the Premier League last year. I forget some of their signings. I mean, Mitrovic, we spoke about him. As much as I said I'm not sure he can do it, I do think there's going to be one time where Mitrovic really keeps the club up and like does that level of madness like he can do for Serbia. And I don't think he's going to score 20, 30 goals, but I think he might be a bit clutch for them this year. And I think that could be the difference between them and like a Leeds United, which up front, who have they got? Paddy Bamford, who is a good player. But yeah, I think Fulham might just stay up, mate.
I like what you're saying. It's weird because it's working perfectly, this podcast, because you just seem to be one in front of me each time. I've put Fulham in 16th. So one place higher.
Similar reasons.
I think exactly the same. I think Mitrovic is... I think Fulham are going to surprise a lot of people because everyone pretty much has them going down. I think they're going to stay up and Mitrovic is going to be key to that.
Yeah. Okay. 16th, I have got Brentford. Okay. Look, they came 13th last year. With the loss of Ericsson, I can see them dropping off a little bit. I think they're good enough to stay up, but I do think they'll be down in the scrap. I think it might be one of them ones where we might see early doors Brentford maybe in and around the relegation zone. Maybe I like Thomas Frank, don't get me wrong, but I think with their personnel changes, they might struggle a little bit at the start of the season. And then, yeah, we'll see. I quite like Brentford, though.
I like them because they've got a team which just seems to be very together. They give me them Leicester vibes the year they won the league. I just feel like they're a very together squad, and I like the manager. And they play some good football at times, Brentford. And they kept even Tony, which is important. But number 15, I don't have Brentford there, which you'd be expecting. I've actually got Southampton. So I have Brentford finishing a few places higher than you. I have Southampton in 15th. They kept James Ward-Prowse, which is their big key player to keep. Yep. However, I don't know. I just don't see them doing much better. Their squad's not that great. It's aging. And Southampton, for me, we spoke about their transfers. Nothing really was exciting there. And I think they'll be lucky, if anything, to come 15th. It could be lower.
Yeah, I mean, I've gone a bit different to you. I will say,
yeah.
I'll get onto my Southampton in a bit. I like Hasenhüttl, mate. To be honest, I made this prediction before I really looked at their signings, and perhaps with a little bit more hindsight.
Defensively, they have been thumped a few times by some teams. Southampton.
Yeah, but
that was that Leicester drubbing as well, and he was at the wheel.
They lost 9-0 twice.
Yeah, twice.
Once to Manchester United, once to But I think that shows a lot of character, mate. Clearly, he's one of them managers that it's like your Sunday league. You go and get thumped 9-0, the next week you might beat someone.
I don't know. Character. So losing 9-0 each week. What a load of character. Well, let's move on from that.
Wait, I didn't say my 15th. Okay. I've gone for Aston Villa in 15th. They came 14th last year. I feel like Gerrard, towards the end of the season, he thought, okay, yeah, I'm Stevie G, mate, I'm Stevie. And it just kind of didn't really work out. I mean, Coutinho obviously staying is a big plus for them. I'm just not too... I think they'll be relatively similar to last year. I think they might be in a bit of a scrap.
Hopefully he plays more. I like him. Good player.
I think for me, his moment's been and gone, JG.
14 for me, Brentford.
14th. Brentford, I have gone for Everton. So I've got Everton at 14th. I actually think Frankie Lampard is going to rally. I'm not biased. I don't care what you
Sounds
say.
a little bit. Are you a Chelsea fan? Oh, you are, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Frankie Lampard's going to rally the troops. The new Burnley boys, they're going to change their style of play a bit. I'm telling you this, right? Frank Lampard's going to get an incredible result against West Ham at the London Stadium this year. That's my early shout.
Maybe he might
Clip it.
What about, is he going to sign Mason Mount in January?
I think that's a stretch. But anyway, yeah, I've got them in 14. But I think I do agree with you. I think they could easily get sucked into a relegation battle, man.
Right, number 13, I've gone with Crystal Palace. I'm not a big fan of them. I know what I've said already. Their transfer business hasn't impressed me much. I know they've got Vieira, and you like him. I do as well. And that's probably why I've got them 13th. Otherwise, lower, because their squad's not good enough. And without Zaha, I think they're a bit of a poor team.
Yeah, I've gone 13th as well. And you've omitted one big loss to Crystal Palace, which could impact them heavily. Conor Gallagher.
Oh, of course.
Conor Gallagher was class for them last year.
Yeah.
Whether or not he might be like a last-minute deadline day, another loan deal for them, I don't know. But it's kind of up in the air at the moment whether he's going to have a big role at Chelsea or not. I hope he does. But yeah, I've got them in 13th, relatively similar to last year. I think they'll drop off a bit, but I like Vieira personally. And I think 13th is a good position for them, really, personally.
Number 12, Leicester. Not too long ago, they was knocking on the door of the European places, but they've not changed the squad enough. And I think Jamie Vardy, another year on, he's only going to be getting slower each year. And he's
but we keep saying that.
Yeah, I know.
He's saying that, and then he comes back.
I mean, 12th isn't bad. I mean, they're going to just finish not as good as what they can do.
Yeah. How long do you think before the Leicester fans start getting a little bit frustrated with this? Because it feels like
I don't think they can ever. What with Jamie Vardy specifically?
No, not Jamie Vardy. So I feel like they were at the tipping point. Brendan Rodgers came in. I think he's a fantastic manager. Jamie Vardy was firing. I don't really feel like they haven't sort of pounced on the opportunity to become one of those big clubs. Like, I feel like I can't really name a big signing that Leicester have made or a good signing that they've made in the past 3 years.
Wesley Fofana, the centre half. Not
bad. We might be going to Chelsea now. So
I saw that 75 million.
I feel like the fans might start to get a little bit frustrated because I agree with you. I think they're going to regress a bit. I haven't gone as much. I haven't got them down in 12th, but I feel like eventually
they've got some good players though. Justin, I like him at fullback. They've got Castagna, a few of them. Yeah. Ndidi, when he's playing well, was quite good. Of course, they've kept James Maddison, and I'm a massive fan of Harvey Barnes, and potentially I should have put him a little bit higher. But I think they've not brought anyone in. They needed a few extra. If they brought, say, one real good sign, I'd have had them 9th, but they haven't. So I'm going to stick with 12th. Let's move. Okay. Have you done your 12th?
No, my 12th is Southampton. I think I did say that. Yeah, I think they're going to be quite good this season. I know they haven't really made the right signings, but I do like Southampton. Maybe I'm a bit biased, but yeah, I think 12th.
I'm excited to see your top 10 in a minute, but let's get there in a minute. So we've got Brighton in 11th for me.
Brighton in 11th. I've gone for Brighton as well. Woo!
Oh, I've gone for Brighton in 11th.
I mean, I love Brighton. I just feel like they're one of those teams for their...
a good manager. Potter's a great manager.
Yeah, I love a bit of Graham, but I see him as a future England manager. You?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you on that. He is genuinely solid.
I will say though, and I mentioned it earlier, I think Basuma, man, that is a big loss. And Cucurella as well, man, if he does go.
Yeah,
so
I
got
agree.
to be careful with Brighton.
If Cucurella does go, then maybe 11th is a push, but they play really good football. I don't know if I'm a bit biased because they've got guaranteed 6 points minimum next year because they'll beat West Ham. They always do. So it doesn't matter who we sign. We're going to have Lionel Messi up top. We're going to lose to Brighton. It's just inevitable. Moving into the top 10, I've gone for the Saudi money in Newcastle.
Ooh, you don't think they'll go higher than that?
No, I think 10th is their peak.
Where did they come last year? 11th. So you think they're only gonna
They're
do
only
better
going to
by
jump one
one
place.
place?
I mean, they ended the season brilliantly. They was in such good form, but
I think in the form table they were like top 8, mate,
yeah.
or
But
something like that.
I think if
Last
they
half of
finish
the
10th,
season.
it's actually a good season for them personally, considering where they were.
Yeah.
They're coming from the Championship and they've just been sort of battling relegation the last few years. A solid top 10. They're building the right way. They're not using all the money straight away and buying all these players.
Yep.
They're doing it gradually and building a core project. 10th will be a good season for them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've got them relatively similar to you. I just think that as much as I did say earlier about building it up slowly, they do need to sprinkle in a bit of stardust in there. Like I feel like someone, I can't think of someone, like they should have maybe gone for like a Christian Eriksen or someone like that. I feel like, but look, I think Newcastle are going to improve. I don't know by how much, but we'll see where I have them. In 10th, I have got Leicester. I've got Leicester in 10th. I think they will regress a bit on last year, but ultimately, I think they're still a top 10 team for me. I know you have it different, but I still see that their squad, if you look at it on paper, it's a top 10 squad.
It's a good squad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I've been a bit harsh, but we'll wait and see. In 9th, so in the top 10, I've gone for Aston Villa. I fancy them for a top 10. I like the team, and I know they've God, it's terrible because I forgot who it is who they've replaced. But the Tyrone Mings was the club captain last year.
Yeah, so the new
him of duty, and they've given it to someone else, and the name's just gone out of my head. John McGinn. And the way he took that on social media just shows the camaraderie between the team. I think there's a good atmosphere there, good spirit. Coutinho is class, and they've got options up front. They've got Ollie Watkins and Ings who can score goals. Bonadia might come better.
Gerrard.
He didn't have a great year last year, but can improve. I think Aston Villa will be all right. And John McGinn, he has the real values of what Aston Villa are. He's been there for a while and loves the club.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've got them all the way down in 15th, but I mean, they could easily do well. I think they're a tough one to call. They're one of the tougher ones to call. Because it's like they're one of those teams that can have a good squad on paper, but then just like not really do a lot.
I think Leon Bailey's have a better season this year.
I disagree. I don't really rate Leon Bailey. I'm not a massive fan, but let's see. Let's see. In 9th, I have got Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Okay.
I think maybe I'll put them a bit higher here. Actually,
Ooh.
I don't know. I've got to stick with it, but I don't know. Like their signings haven't really sort of impressed me too much. I don't know. I feel like they've lost a couple of decent players as well. Look, we'll see. I think Wolves are a good team. I like the manager, Bruno Lage, I believe his name is. And they've obviously got that Portuguese flair as well. I think it will be important for them to keep Ruben Neves, though. I think that's kind of the key to whether or not they can get that 9th place. But let's see.
Coutinho is important for them as well. Of course, they signed Dom Plank. Let's not forget that. Big player, Dom Plank for Wolves. And joking aside, Nathan Collins is a good signing, so to reinforce the defence.
Yeah. And I think they needed that after some of the outgoings. So look, I like Wolves as well. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like Wolves, man. Like it's kind of sick, like the orange.
It's a nice logo.
Mate, I like the Wolves. Bro. Like imagine like a pack of wolves like devouring like. I don't know.
Did the name influence your decision on the place or not?
Sometimes it does. I mean, Nottingham Forest for me is just a terrible name for a football club. Like Forest,
Robin Hood, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just I don't like it. They're going down. But anyway, Wolves in 9th. Who have you got? Sorry,
I did my 9th one, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, I had Aston Villa. Yeah, of course. So
let's
move to 8th.
Top 8.
8th, I've got Wolves. I think we've spoken about the badge enough.
Mate, how high up have you got West Ham? How high up have you got West Ham?
Well, you probably.
He's got. No,
I know
what you've done.
now.
No, I know what you've done. I know what you've done. You've got West Ham coming above Chelsea. I read you like a book, bro.
Okay, where have you got in 8th?
In 8th, I've got Newcastle United.
Oh, so you got West Ham quite high this year then.
Yeah. I feel like Newcastle for me, although they haven't invested as much as I think they will, I really, really rate Eddie Howe as a manager. And I think they've got a good thing going there. The fans are back on board with the whole project. I don't know how happy they're going to be with the signings they made, but I think they've still got faith in the project, in the manager. I think the players do as well. I think it's a good squad. I think players like St. Maximin, I was about to say Mitrovic then. I think I'm living in the past. But Guimarães, you mentioned him earlier. I think it's a good squad. I think they've improved it slightly, not as much as they need to. But ultimately, I think this is more to do with some of the other teams like Leicester regressing a bit and Newcastle just kind of capitalising on that. Let's see, man. I mean, anything can happen with Newcastle. You never bloody know.
Number 7, I think this is a very, it's a nice number, number 7. A lot of people say lucky number 7. Reminds you of David Beckham playing for England. And this is a very special spot. And I actually believe the biggest club in London is going to finish 7th.
So you have got West Ham above Chelsea then. Oh,
nice one. Boom.
But
maybe I'll press it. Let's see if I can find it.
It's Ben's still there.
Ben's gone to sleep.
There we go.
But in 7th, I've got West Ham United. They could come 6th, but I'm going to be. I don't know. I just don't want to overdo it. I feel if I push West Ham, then it's never going to happen. I'm going to try and be a little bit more realistic. I put them 7th. They've added to the squad, but we're still a few positions short.
Yeah.
I still feel we need a few extra additions in. Maybe a Kostic, a brilliant player from Frankfurt.
Yeah.
We can sign him. I'd love that. And we just need a few more numbers. But I love Scamacca. I think he's a brilliant signing.
Mate, have you got Scamacca paintings on your wall, mate?
I am going to be getting a shirt. I'm going to get a Scamacca shirt.
Have you seen him play before?
Yes, of course I have.
When?
For Sassuolo.
Oh, come on, mate.
Have you seen him play?
Be real. No, I haven't.
He's a quality player. He's a new Ibrahimovic, and I think he's going to do some dangerous things.
You just know what West Ham fans are going to call him. Oh, Macca, mate. Oh, Macca's a proper player, he is, mate. Yeah. The Mac man. Yeah. West Ham, good. That's what you're going to call. Are you going to ever?
Hey, do you know Scamacca runs with attacker? So you're going to think there's going to be some chant.
His name's Matt. Who's an attacker? He loves to score in a bowling. It ain't even the bowling anymore. But mate, I can't.
And he's number 7 as well, so it's quite fitting. So that's who. He's number 7. Another player who does play a bit like is Marko Arnautovic, and he was a big success at West Ham. And he was also.
He started slow though. He started slow. And Will Scamacca, I think it was a whole season, to be honest, that Arnautovic was a bit dead before he
played him on the wing, and then Moyes come in and played him central, and he just started banging.
Yeah, I liked Arnautovic at West Ham. It's a shame he kind of left, to be honest, because he was kind of in a good spot. Did he go to China? Am I right in saying?
I believe so, yeah. I think he's moved on since then, but I don't keep up to date with him.
7th for me, West Ham, mate. I've got him there as well. Classic. I don't mind West Ham. I mean, look, for me, I'm not as convinced as you on Scamacca. I think the biggest transfer success for West Ham is retaining the services of Declan Rice. I think that's the key to this. For me, he's the best midfielder in the Premier League, if not the world. And I'm not mincing my words. Ooh. Maybe I'm going a bit crazy, but I mean, there are a few good midfielders out there like Luka Modric. But for me, all right, he's the best under 25 midfielder in the world.
Kimmich?
That's my shout. Kimmich, I believe he's 27 or something now. I don't think he's under 25.
Okay.
Yeah, let's have a look at that. But I've got West Ham coming 7th. I think they'll maintain their position. Kimmich is 27.
Okay.
Bit of knowledge there for you. But I think retaining Declan Rice firms them up in that 7th spot. I don't think they're going to quite have enough to crack that top 6 yet. But with a few clubs in a little bit of disarray, there's every chance. But
the good thing with 7th is it does mean Europa Conference League football as well, which I think is the level of West Ham at the moment. Let's move into the Europa League spots. And in 6th,
top 6.
This is where it gets interesting, the top 6. I'm going to let you go first on this one.
Well, it pains me a little bit, but I've got my club, Chelsea Football Club, dropping down from 3rd
Oh,
to
I mean,
6th.
that ruins it for me. That ruins, because I've got Chelsea at 6th as well. I wanted you to be angry at me.
Oh no! I mean, look, I could go on this all day, and I'm gonna rant a little bit. I know we've spent a lot of
I'll
time
let you
on this
speak for both of us on
podcast
Chelsea
today. Yeah, I mean, look, the signing's pretty good. Raheem Sterling, good signing. Koulibaly, it's up in the air. I said he might be a flop. For me, I look at the dysfunctional nature of the club in its current form. Petr Cech, yes, they said that he left off of his own accord. Let's be fair, pushed out the door. I thought Petr Cech did a really good job in that sort of technical director role. Obviously, a club legend as well. As soon as Bowley comes in, Petr Cech, you're out the door, mate. Bowley takes over. Marina Gravascalava. I don't know how to pronounce her name. I don't know whether you know, she's like the head of transfer dealings, a senior director at Chelsea. Bowley comes in, pushes her out the door. She's had a lot of hits. She's had a lot of misses in her time at Chelsea. But one thing we know is that she's a prime negotiator. And guess who's in that role now? The new owner. He's just putting himself in all these. I feel like we've got a man at the helm that thinks that he can translate his baseball expertise and knowledge in terms of the transfer market there, completely different world, into Premier League football. And I don't think it's going to work. I think Sterling was an easy signing to make because Man City ultimately didn't really want him. And I think, yeah, exactly. Koulibaly, was anyone else really in the market for Koulibaly? I'm not so sure. We kind of got him easily. But every other signing, the more sort of, Rafinha had a few clubs after him. Koundé had a few clubs after him. Barcelona, namely.
Have you ever been to Barcelona?
I have been to Barcelona. Yeah, it's a nice city. I haven't been to Camp Nou, but I've been to the city of Barcelona. Yeah,
don't suppose you'll go back again, will you? Especially after this window.
Mate, I mean, less said about. I've already spoken about them, but I want to speak about Chelsea right now because I feel like this might be. We had a decent season last year, won a couple of trophies. This for me is going to be toxic this year. I've got an early shout. I don't think Tuchel lasts the season.
Wow. I mean, I agree with a lot of things you said. I think sort of off the pitch, it's going to be a bit messy and it could come onto the pitch. However, with Chelsea, their squad's actually quite good. I mean, if it all clicks for them, they come 3rd. I think they're the 3rd best squad.
Yeah.
But
equally, it wouldn't surprise me. We know what Chelsea are like. They could go around and win the Premier League this season.
No, they can't.
No, they could.
No, they can't.
Would you have predicted them to win the Champions League 2 years ago?
No, but they can't win the Premier League next year.
Mate, it could happen.
I'm telling you, they can't. There's certain teams that just can't win the Premier League. Chelsea will not win the Premier League next year.
I mean, yeah. Let's see. I mean, the last thing I'll say on Chelsea, and I don't want to sound like the sort of negative fan, but I mean, it's been a tough.
Very positive at the moment.
It's been a tough 6 months as a Chelsea fan. The last thing I'll say for all you Twitter merchants out there, and I'm gonna call you out. I'm sorry, all of you man that have been boasting to all the other fans in the Premier League, going, "Oh yeah, we've got the best owner in the Premier League now. Oh, Todd Bowley's Blues, mate." And now look at you, each and every one of you little boys and girls. Oh, Bowley don't know what he's doing, mate. He don't know what he's doing. Oh, mate, don't mince your words. Stop trying to lie. Stop trying to kid yourself. We all knew it was going to be bad. And don't get me wrong, I'm being negative right now. But I think 6th would be a decent season for Chelsea. I wouldn't mind it because I think it's going to be a tough one. But Twitter merchants, just stop this toxic, oh yeah, we're the best in the world, and then all of a sudden being like, oh, actually I'm not happy with this owner. I mean, look, I've gone on a bit of a mad one there, but yeah.
If any Twitter merchants are listening, hopefully you're listening to Liam's words. Into top 5, I've gone for 5th Man United. I think,
mate. Go on, speak.
I think Ten Hag's building a project. I think he's a serious manager. I actually like what he's doing there.
So why have you got him coming 5th then?
No, because I think they're not, their squad's not good enough. I look at their team and it just doesn't. Who's their centre midfielders? I mean, they just don't have the squad. They simply
Frankie
don't
de Jong,
have
mate,
the squad.
he's coming.
I don't know if Frankie de Jong's going to be there. I think
Christian
with Man
Eriksen.
United, yeah, I guess it's not bad. But I think I like the manager. I like what they're doing. I think Rashford's going to be an integral part of the season this year. I think he's going to be given a lease of life under the new manager. And Man United will do better than what people anticipate them to do. I know they come 6th last year, but it was the manner of the way they played. It's not going to be quite as good as 5th. Is not really a success for Man United. However,
No.
I think that it is a gradual build-up, and they'll take 5th, considering what's been going on.
You're saying that, but for me, right, I don't think United fans will take 5th.
They're going to be disappointed, but
they expect
if
nothing less than top 4.
If they don't get a central midfielder in with their current team, I'm not sure if they can really progress.
I mean, look, I agree with you, but what I'm saying is I don't think 5th is a good season because, yeah, you can have the context of signings, but ultimately they should be making the signings to get them into the top 4.
Okay.
That's how I feel. I mean, look, man, I've gone a bit mad here, and you could call me crazy. I've got Man City.
No.
I'm joking.
No,
It's Man United. I've got Man United.
Okay.
I just wanted to.
I was going to end the stream.
Look, for me, you've mentioned that it's progression. For me, I've got Chelsea dropping off massively. I think United are just a finished club, man. I think it's toxic from the top level to the bottom. I think the signings they've made are not really inspiring me. I think Cristiano Ronaldo in a bit of disarray. Ten Hag, I do
if they make Ronaldo stay, I think they get worse. I think it's going to cause because it's going to be it's going to be a Ronaldo who plays for United who doesn't want to be there. He's going to be like Alexis Sanchez when he wanted to leave Arsenal. And he's throwing his gloves all around the pitch. It's going to be a bit like that.
Yeah, he's a professional though, man.
He's a bit arrogant.
I'm telling you how I was listening to Mark Goldbridge.
He's very arrogant, and he's going to be just over the top, all about him.
Mark Goldbridge made a good point on this. He's a prime professional. No matter what happens, if he has to stay at Man United for whatever reason, if he's forced to, he will do the job. He will do the job. I look at it from more of a footballing perspective. I'd always have Ronaldo in my team, but I don't really know at his current age how conducive he is to this Ten Hag style of play, the high press. Obviously, it's Ronaldo, like he can do pretty much anything, but I look at it more from a tactical thing of like, does he really fit like what they're trying to achieve? Like, because they're trying to build in this new young team, new tactics. Really, should they just say, you know what, Ronaldo, thank you so much. We're going to move you on anyway because it's in the best interest of both parties, and then use the small amount of money you get to kind of invest in a bit more. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I think United, just to sort of wrap up on 5th spot, I think, look, improving by 1 position is great. They came 6th last year, of course. But for me, I really would have expected with a new manager coming in them to invest heavily. And I kind of haven't seen the level of investment that's required. Yeah, they might get Frankie de Jong in, but they might get Frankie de Jong in, but is that enough still? I don't know.
Right,
but
so
yeah,
we've got Chelsea 6th, United 5th. We've actually gone for the same so far in the top 6. Do we have the same in number 4?
I bet we do. I mean, in 4th, I've got Arsenal.
We haven't them.
What? No.
We might as well. We'll do it in parallel. All right. Because all of these, they talk about the same. So in 4th, I've got Tottenham.
Wow. Okay. So you're liking the Gabriel Jesus then? You're liking their side?
I might have Arsenal winning the league. I might have Arsenal winning the league. You have to wait and see.
Wait, are you actually serious?
You have to wait and see.
Oh, come on, man. You're sounding like Ty from Arsenal. Come on, man. No. So, are you being serious? You think they could win the league?
listen, just wait. Let's wait and see. Let's wait and see as it progresses. We're number 4 at the moment. I'm saying Tottenham. Great signings, great manager, great club. It's going to be very close between them and Arsenal this year. I think they're neck and neck.
Yeah.
The North London derby is going to be it's going to be a really good match. I'm excited to watch it. Tottenham probably win it as well. Ultimately, though, I think Tottenham, they've got that in them. And we're neither of us are massive fans of Tottenham. They've got that bottler spirit inside. Their trophy cabinet's still empty. And they're going to get very close to getting getting third. And they're not going to get it. And Arsenal are going to win in the last day. Tottenham are going to lose. Arsenal comes third, Tottenham fourth.
I completely disagree, man. So I've got it the complete other way. Obviously,
it's going to go down to the final game. Arsenal win, Tottenham lose.
What are they bottling? It's not a trophy.
St. Tottenham Day or whatever they call it.
Oh, yeah.
Tottenham's Day.
I don't care about that. Mate, I've got it the opposite, man.
The fans do care about it, though. You can't say they don't. Arsenal and Tottenham fans do care if they finish higher than their respective rival.
Yeah. Of course.
They pretend they don't, but that is a big thing for them.
Yeah. But, okay, so I've got it the other way. I think it'll be close between United, Chelsea and Arsenal for the 4th spot. I think Tottenham... Well, we'll get on to third. Let's go to third.
We can do both interchangeable.
Yeah. So I've got Tottenham in third. I imagine you've got Arsenal then.
Yeah, so Arsenal third. Yeah.
Yeah. I personally, I think there's more chance that Tottenham comes second than there is Arsenal coming third. I think there's every chance that Tottenham might push for that second spot. And I'll get to that one. No.
Why not? You're bigging them up
because they're bottlers.
Oh, so you're agreeing with my bottling point?
I mean, yeah, but no, because in terms of trophies, mate, they're not. They can't win a Premier. They can't because it will kill me. They can't do it. I mean, look, if I was to look at their squad, their manager, I'd probably say, you know what, they bloody well could, but I don't know, man. They're too much bottle jobs for me. But I personally, I could see them coming second. I've got them in third, but I could see them coming second.
Let's move into second. So now we're left with Man City and Liverpool. It's a 2-horse race, it feels, this year. And I still stand by that. For me, it's not that difficult.
Should we say who's going to win the Premier League first, or should we?
Oh, it's obvious. It just doesn't matter which way. Do you want to say it at the same time? Yeah. 3, 2, 1, Liverpool.
Yeah, there we go. Easy.
I mean, we could go to straight number 1 because Man City are going to win the league. Let's just quickly talk about Liverpool. We both have them in second. I want to just challenge you a little bit because Darwin Núñez, 85 billion. You spoke about him and you think he's going to be a real flop.
Yeah.
You don't like his movement. They've lost Sadio Mane, one of their really important players. Could Liverpool not fall lower than second based off your theories about some of their players and signings?
They could. That's why I'm saying I think Tottenham could push them. But this is how I see it, man, and I'll say it in very basic terms.
Would you say Liverpool will be closer to Tottenham than they are to Man City winning the league?
Yes. Okay. I think this is. I hate to be boring. But I want to do this in a realistic way. As much as we're having fun with it, Man City are going to landslide the Premier League this year. I'm happy to live and die on that sword. I think they basically wrap it up by January. Again. I mean, that's a stretch too far.
No, when I say wrap it up, I mean they're going to be clear of. They're not going to obviously win the league in January, but they'll be clear by say 12 points, 13, 14 points, a big distance where they're not going to lose. They've won it.
I've got a little
10 plus points.
I'm going to play devil's advocate with you. I've got Man City winning, and I do agree with you, but the elusive trophy that has eluded them for so many years is, and Pep as well, he hasn't won it in over 10 years now, the Champions League. Will that come as a distraction for their Premier League campaign? This is the year. Haaland's in. Do you not think that there's a chance that they've won so many Premier Leagues after the last few years, really just go for it in the Champions League and maybe be a little bit less focused on that Premier League title?
They've got the squad, mate. They've got the squad to play both and be competitive.
Boring.
They've got serious players. I don't think they're going to win the Champions League. I think Pep Guardiola is going to be cursed again. They're going to maybe lose in the final or the semis. They're maybe not going to win that, but they'll win the Premier League and they're going to win it a landslide. The team's just so good. And I think everyone needs to be worried about Man City again. They're
I
such a great team to watch. West Ham having first as well, which is horrible. I don't want to play them because we're going to lose 4-0.
Yeah, but get them out of the way, man. It's nice to get them out of the way.
I think I'd prefer it once they've already won the league and they're like playing Edison up top or something last game of the season.
You're going to have to play them before they've won the league.
No, what do you mean?
You play them twice a season.
Yeah, but of course. Yeah, I know. But I know what you're saying. Of course. But even sort of like, I prefer to play him the first time, like during the middle of like Champions League matches.
Yeah,
Do you know, like when you play like midweek and it's just gonna, or you play him after 2 or 3 days rest. First day when they're raring to go, Erling Haaland ready to score a hat trick on his debut. I don't fancy it at all.
Yeah, and I mean, I think Haaland's gonna come in and really want to set down a precedent and get an early lead in that top goal scorer category. I mean, look, for me, Man City, I'll get a landslide. I was just playing with you a little bit there. I personally think Liverpool are going to be at least 10 points away. I think Man City are going to break the 100 points again. Yeah. I think Tottenham could easily come second. The one thing I will say about Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp, he's not going anywhere, and they are well drilled under him. But for me, look, Liverpool have won 1 Premier League. They have come close like last year and that other year where it was kind of similar to last year, right? What that other year they had, but I just don't think they've got enough, and that's no discredit to Liverpool. Man City are financially strong, their squad's strong. They've got, would you say, the best manager in the world? I probably would.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. I'm a bit, and I've really enjoyed this video with you, and we'll get on to the last few categories in just a moment. But
just quickly before you do that, this screen here, we've just got our overview. So
yes.
I'm just going to go through them now. So as we've just spoken about, number 1, Man City for me. Number 2, Liverpool. 3rd, Arsenal. 4th, Tottenham. 5th, Man United. 6th, Chelsea. 7th, you can include West Ham because it's Conference League. 7th, West Ham. And the 3 relegated clubs, as you can see on the screen, in our condensed view of the table, is Everton 18th, Bournemouth 19th, and Nottingham Forest at the bottom. How's it for you?
I think it's a good table, but I do have it different. I got City top, same as you. Liverpool 2nd, same as you. Tottenham 3rd. I think you've lost your head there, to be honest with you, mate. But we'll see. Arsenal in 4th. United 5th, but I disagree that that's a good season for them. I really don't think so. Chelsea 6th. I'm going to cry myself to sleep thinking about it. West Ham in 7th. We'll put them in there, as you say. And then my 3 relegated teams, just checking this one, is Leeds. I think that's a bit controversial. I don't think people are going to like that. Especially Chelsea and Leeds have a bit of a rivalry as well, by the way. I don't know whether you know.
Yeah, I do.
It's a bit of an old school rivalry. So I think people might be a bit peed about that. And then I got Bournemouth and Nottingham Forest going that. We've got it pretty similar, mate. I mean,
pretty similar. We're going to go back to this in May, and we're going to see how right or wrong we both are. We'll do a reaction video.
Yeah.
But let me just stop sharing the screen. And to end this video, because we're going to wrap up because we've been speaking. I mean, it's a 2-hour video. It's pretty long. Maybe we'll chop it up and just show it in different segments, because I know I'm cautious that people will be getting very bored. But what I want to just end on and wrap this one up quickly is your top goal scorer. Yeah. Let's start with that.
Darwin Núñez.
You're joking.
Darwin Núñez. No, I think do you know what? I'm gonna go controversial because we like to have fun here.
Okay, let me just read out last year. Mohamed Salah 23, Song 23, Ronaldo 18, Kane 17.
I'm going in a World Cup year. I think he's gonna hit the ground running. I think Harry Kane has a 30-goal season in the Premier League this year under Conte. No. Why is that ridiculous, mate? He's done it before.
That's insane. Okay, fair enough.
I think Haaland will be very close at like 28, 29, which is an incredible first season in the Prem. But I see Kane under Conte this year, and I said they're going to be pushing for second. I want Harry Kane 30 goals.
I'm going to be boring. I'm going to go Haaland, top goal scorer. In terms of assists, though, this might surprise you. I'm going to have Harry Kane as the most assists next season.
I like that. I like that because the way Conte plays,
people don't realise how good his link-up plays. Pretty mad, Harry Kane.
Mate, the way he drops back in and then brings others into play. I mean, I think that's a pretty good shout. To be fair, I like that. I like it a bit different as well.
Yeah.
Let me just think mine through.
Bruyne.
Did we go controversial again?
Just go with your heart.
Did we go? I mean, my head is saying De Bruyne. But do you know what my heart's saying? No, but Trent? Do you know what my heart's saying? No.
Mason Mount.
Exactly, mate.
Oh, it's not going to be Mason Mount, is it? He's not going to be top assists.
Why not?
He's just not.
All right. No, I'm going Mason Mount. Because if he's right, I'll be laughing at the end of the season, mate. Mason Mount. And he's getting 20.
Okay. And the last question I have for you is the surprise package. Who's going to be the surprise team of the year?
Surprise team of the year. So I'm just thinking about my table. I mean, is it controversial to say Tottenham Hotspur? Or would that not really be surprising?
I mean...
Tell me yours.
If Tottenham finish second, then it is.
Yeah, I think it depends on the
if Tottenham
league
finish
position,
second, that's surprising.
Yeah.
But you have suggested that could happen.
Tell me yours.
Well, I'm going to go Aston Villa. Aston Villa are my surprise team. I know you've put them in 15th. Okay. I've put them in 9th. If they...
All right, I've got one.
Things could come together for Aston Villa and they have a really good season. That's all I'm saying. They're my surprise team. Aston Villa, ones to watch.
John McGinn, captain. Mine is this. A little bit controversial, and maybe you've overlooked this, but I think this is a fair shout. Mine is actually Fulham. I have got them just staying up, but I think a lot of people are going to expect them to go down, mate.
I mean, if Fulham get in the top 10, then you've definitely won. That is a really good prediction of having Fulham as your surprise team.
They'll get in the top 10 though.
Yeah, but you never. I think if things click with Mitrovic, they can.
Nah, mate, they ain't getting top 10. That's mental. I think I win that poll even if they stay up. Personally.
If Aston Villa get in top 10 and Fulham just stay up, I think I beat you.
Where have you got them coming? 8th?
9th.
Top 9 then. All right, I'll give you that. But if Fulham come any higher than, say, 16th, I think Fulham have to win it.
Okay, we'll assess anyway towards the end of the season. Let's wrap it up there. I'm JG. That's Liam on the Liquidator podcast. Go subscribe to his channel. Also, subscribe to GTL Extra. We're going to be doing more videos throughout the Premier League season. We'll be doing some boxing stuff and UFC. I'm most likely to be doing more of the football stuff because I enjoy doing it. We're going to have some more guests on as well. Liam's going to be coming in from time to time. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, like this video as well. It really helps us move through the algorithm, and we will see you very soon. Last thing left to say is, come on, Skamaka, come on, you Irons.
And by the way, also comment below your tables. Do it now. We'll reply to every single one of them, and we'll tell you you're a silly young boy or girl. But yeah, Skamaka, mate, dead. See you later.